Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be talking Sega Game Gear. One of my favorite handhelds. Was the second handheld I ever owned, and I really dug it. Tons of awesome games for it. First Sega system that I ever owned, and I was hooked. Really loved this thing. But more specifically, what we're going to be talking about today is a brand new Everdrive for the Game Gear. So this is the Everdrive GG X7. There was a previous Everdrive for the Game Gear, but it lacked a lot of the modern features that a lot of the current Everdrives have for different consoles. So if you're not familiar with what an Everdrive is, it allows us to load up our ROMs. So games from any region, ROM hacks, original ROMs, translations, homebrew. You can load up tons of stuff on this and play it on original hardware. So that is pretty cool, especially, a lot of games are kind of difficult to come by, and this is a great solution. So the previous version of this kind of, it was lacking a lot of features. The specs on that, on the original anyway, from the prices that I seen, it was going for around 89 or between like 80 to 89 bucks, whereas this version is 129. But with that higher price tag comes a lot of extra features. So with this, we have a max ROM size of 4 megabytes, so you could load up larger games, newer homebrews, different kind of stuff like that. Whereas the original was 1 megabyte, so you got a lot more to work with here. Both of the versions you could load up Game Gear, Sega Master System games were supported, plus a lot of other stuff. So not a big change there. One of the biggest, though, with this, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a second, is instant game loading. You select your game, it loads up, you are playing. The previous version, it would have to erase the memory, load it onto there. It was kind of a pain in the butt, so this really brings it forward. Low power consumption, high quality 4-layer PCB, so the build quality of these newer versions is a heck of a lot nicer. You have a soft reset to the menu, whereas the original did not have that. The OS supports up to 1,000 files per folder. And the one cool thing over the previous version is that this one, you have access to your micro SD card. The original version, you would have to either buy it from somebody who made a shell for it, or come up with your own shell, or just use the PCB somehow without a shell. I don't know. But if you used an extra shell, it didn't matter. The way the micro SD card sat in, it was kind of lower, so you couldn't really access it even if you cut a hole in there. I guess if you use like tweezers or something maybe. But the way this is built, you have easy access to the top. Brand new Everdrive shell made for this. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up and demonstrate some gameplay, how this thing works, different things we could do with it. I am pleasantly surprised. Really love the Game Gear. My Game Gear needs a little bit of love. This thing is giving me a lot of issues, having some problems with the pins. I do have a McWill mod in here, so we're going to zoom up on the screen and take a look. I did have a VGA port on here, but whoever put this together, they really jacked this system up. I couldn't get any output from that, so we're just going to zoom up. So let's go ahead, check it out. Okay, so here we go. We're all booted up. Looks just like a lot of the other Everdrives out there, but like I said, we do have some new features here. So I do have the Smoke Monster pack installed on the micro SD card that I'm using here. Also have the Sega Master System pack loaded up so I could play these. A lot of cool stuff here. So a couple things that we could do here. If we hit the start button, we're given some options. We can play our last game, go to options, recently played. We can look through that list. Random game, device info will give you some information, what firmware, the OS version you're on, all that good stuff. You can run some diagnostics, take a look at the about section, and then going back to options, you can go ahead and turn the in-game menu on. By default, it was off for me. You could set a hotkey. Right now I have it as up and 1+2. So you could set that up numerous different ways. So very nice. Let's just go ahead and get into a game. Here's one of my favorites. So we hit the 1 button. You could select only, look at the ROM information. Gives you the mapper, system, ROM size, or just select and start. Jump right into the game. So there we go. I'm sure this would be pretty familiar to people. So there's that. If we want to go into the menu, up and 1 and 2, we could save state, load state. It appears we get 1 save state per game, so we can go ahead and save that state. Loads it up. Say we took some damage there. Let's go ahead and load that save state. So there we go. Works very nicely. We hit it again. We can go back to the menu, exit out, find another game to play. And as you see, instant loading, the game boots right up. There's no additional like reflashing or erasing of anything. The game just loads up fairly quick. Instant loading. So there's that. Let's go ahead and load up a Sega Master System game. Alex Kidd in Shinobi World, why not? You do have access to the in-game menu as well. Our save states. Okay, we took some damage. Let's go ahead and load that. Boom. Working very nicely. I'm really digging this Flashcart. So much stuff we could do. With it being fairly instant as far as the loading of games, huge benefit over the previous Everdrive. So just wanted to kind of showcase that. It really brings out the Sega Game Gear. I mean, allows you to play a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to. Translations, homebrews, just tons of stuff. Let's see, like, I know we have some ROM hacks as well, like Sonic 2 multi-jump. Let's check that out. So it really, gives you more that you can mess around with. Giving you a lot of access to different games. See how this double jump works. Oh, nice. Actually, it's more than a double jump. It's like an infinite jump. Oh shit! You got to be careful. But yeah, so much damn fun with all the stuff you have access to. Let me show you. We've been out of this game for a minute. Let's go to recently played, Revenge of Drancon, whatever you want to call it. Let's load our save state. There we go. It's still there. So yeah, I really enjoy the Game Gear. Tons of awesome stuff to be played on it, and I don't have a huge collection of games. I only have a small handful, so this is really cool to be able to jump into some stuff if I want to play on the Game Gear. Of course, there's plenty of other options out there, emulation and whatnot. We all know that, but sometimes it's kind of cool to play on original hardware, and I think this is really neat. So just wanted to showcase that to you guys, the Everdrive GG X7. Very nice stuff. Was one of the only systems I have that I didn't have a flash cart for, so hey, why the heck not? Now I can play some games that I wasn't gonna get anyway or didn't have access to. That's what it's about, playing some damn games. I don't care. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye and boom. Bye.